and welcome back to AI and 5. As always, I'm your host, Simon Chris. Joining me today from Sydney is Lucio Ribeiro, and we are going to be talking about the human impact of AI adoption. Hey, Lucio, welcome to AI and 5. Thanks for joining us.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Look, you're definitely a veteran of this industry. You know, you've worked across Optus and Channel 7 and Channel 9, and, you know, you're a writer for Forbes. You're right there in the frame, and someone that I follow closely on LinkedIn. We were just talking off air just before we started this about some of the human impacts of AI. And I was saying I tend to see a lot of companies running after the tech so fast they forget their people. Is that kind of your experience too? What are you seeing?
That's absolutely my experience as well, Simon. We were talking this before, and I think I don't think there's a morality, or I don't think any businesses necessarily say, "Oh, let's not take our workforce with us." I don't think there's a planned thing. Yeah. It's a thing it's happening, and I'm seeing. I normally describe this process of AI implementation across six teams. And initially, it starts around the planning or the assessment, and then you start an assessment, and then you go to a planning phase. And what I like to do is to meet where the workforce is, like meet where they are, you know. And then the assessment asks, okay, what have you been using? What are you using for? What are the barriers? What is your perception? How would you like to help us? And this sort of stuff. And I think the workforce in many of these programs, I'm seeing enterprises and mid-sized businesses being quite advanced on the tools, being quite advanced on the vertical use cases and finding the barriers and finding the partnerships, but lacking a little bit behind taking the workforce into the same. I mean, I know journey is quite corny, but taking the workforce in that journey with you.
Yeah, it's interesting. I saw just recently that, you know, as a part of the UN's AI Act, they've kind of mandated that everybody get a minimum level of training around AI. I'm not really seeing that yet in Australia. Some organizations are kind of getting there, but most haven't yet.
Well, I'm very practical in the implementation, but I always think framework, because it's as a former lecturer in universities, frameworks, I believe they can survive the test of time, and they become valid for a long time. The way I talk to my colleagues and friends and clients are the 3 E's, and they educate, empower, and encourage. So the first step
educate,
is before
empower, and encourage. Okay.
You're correct. And the education comes the first part. And education is not just the technical education, Sam. It's also education about as a business, what is your proposition for AI? So I'll give an example, if you don't mind. Most of the conversations you have and I have in AI conversation, the culture around AI is around optimizing. And we always hear things like, oh, we want to save people's time so they can do better quality work. But actually what that means, what doing better quality work means. So my mindset to talk to your workforce, or you have a planning around your workforce, and say, okay, great. If I could give you another 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours of your week, what is going to be the best thing? But you also, as a business, need to have some aspirations. So I'll give 2 examples. It might be that you want to save time for your workforce because they are working on 120% capacity. It's just a mental health thing. You want it to reduce so they can have time to breathe and go to the bathroom and sleep well at night. It might be that you want to give them time because you are in 1 year, 2 years, you're going to launch a new product, a new service. So you want to save time now so you can upskill or reskill that workforce for this new product, this new service. So you're not going to be upskilling or reskilling your workforce in AI, but for maybe a new product, a new service that's coming around the pipeline. So you can take your workforce with you. So I always talk about educate about why you're putting AI in a workforce. Educate about the tool, educate what the staff tell their friends, their spouses, their kids, their clients, what they talk about AI. And then you empower them with the tools, with the time, with the guidance, and then encourage, obviously, say, okay, what we're doing together. That's
Yeah.
my view.
Yeah, wow, that's really powerful. Educate, empower, and encourage. I love that. Believe it or not, we're already at time, but I want to ask you the same question I ask everyone. Outside of the three E's, if a company was just starting its AI journey, what would be your advice for them?
In a very practical manner, I would ask, I would tell them to do a proper assessment. And this is very simple. Just come up with a survey, send to some key people, perhaps your workforce if you have this possibility, and trying to understand where they are. And you're going to
Mm,
be surprised most of the time. And we know this about the shadow AI. We know, like, in average, Simon, my clients, when I ask them how many people are using simple tools like ChatGPT, they say, oh, maybe 4 or 5 out of 10. And normally I come back out of the survey, we know that's about 9 out of 10 or 8 out of 10.
yeah,
So meet where they are. They be using these tools for some stuff and survey their fears, their views of opportunities. And very important, very, very important. That's the last piece of advice. Follow them up. You do assessment, you understand what's going on, make sure they know that you know and you're addressing all the results of the survey.
yeah, what you're
Continue
doing
the
with the
conversation.
data. Yeah, yeah. Look, that's been fantastic advice and a great episode of AI and Five. Thank you so much.
Oh, this has been the most fun I ever had talking about AI in a 5 minutes podcast. Thank you very much.
Thanks.